as Grey Weka Cano. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Grey Weka Cano. You said it fast. I thought it was 2 words. All right. So this is in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Okay. So this is an obelisk. Now, the thing with these obelisks is that when a pharaoh died, it was believed that the pharaoh's spirit went into the sun and he was at his highest point of enlightenment. What did Satan do to Eve according to the left-hand side? He enlightened her. He gave her knowledge. He gave her wisdom. So it's kind of crazy how the biblical narrative, I want y'all to follow me here. It's kind of crazy that the biblical narrative can be seen practice the same stories and allegories that we can see in Genesis chapter 3, for an example. You can see that played out in heathen customs. They worship the sun because they say the sun gives them enlightenment. Satan is connected to sun worship, which gave Eve enlightenment. Okay, and Adam enlightenment, quote unquote. They view God as the enemy because God was trying to keep enlightenment and knowledge away from them. When the Egyptians were in power, they worshiped snakes. All right, they worship snakes. Y'all ever seen the Mummy? You see the little sundial that flashes the light, and then the snakes is on the side of it. Y'all remember that? How many of y'all seen the Mummy? Remember when he shot the mirror, and then those things take light from the sun. So in their temples, they would shine light on those, and it would go to a particular place in the temple, and they would say that was where the holy area was, and they would worship their God. And on the disc was a serpent on the side of it, a snake. Is that a coincidence that is fitting the biblical narrative of Genesis? And then on top of that, when you see an obelisk, like I said, research it. When the pharaoh died, they would erect one of these up. And they said that the pharaoh went into the sun and is at his highest point of enlightenment. That's what the obelisk actually represents. Okay. So we're not going to read this, but what I do want to show you is this. All right. What is this? What is that? Why is that in America? And isn't that where the president gets? Is that where the president gets swarmed in? Huh? Yeah. So here's furthermore proof why we shouldn't vote. Because they getting sworn in when Rush, and guess what? Guess when they built this? They built this when he died. The same as I brought this up to a dude I work with. I said, bro, why is this in America? I said, if America is a country of God, why is this in America? Let's get some images. Let's see. Here it is right here. Look how big it is. They letting you know who is America's God. Satan. Satan is the son. Who's Americans' founding forefather? George Washington, right? He died. He went into the sun, got his highest point of enlightenment. He said, look, erect one of these up. This lets you know who we worshiping. And this is not the only one that's in America, but this is the most famous one. Who is America telling you they worship? Satan. They telling you. It ain't talking about the Most High. That ain't God we trust. It's not talking about, look, I ain't even going to go into the dollar yet. I'll go into that later. I'm just, you know, we're going to go into that later because just that dollar alone is crazy. But just looking at this, you can clearly see, let me see, let me go back. Where was I at? Oh, here it is right here. That is the same as what's found in Egypt. All right. So now let's read that in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 2 again.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
You see that? With did weaken the nations. We're going to get an understanding of that. Give me Deuteronomy 4:19. If America is truly a nation that is supposed to worship God, should they have any of this in America? Deuteronomy 4:19. Let's get it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 19.
Read.
And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them.
We literally are grandma, grandma that go to church every Sunday, and then after church, see, I had them families that really went to church. They went to church, and then after they had a Sunday dinner and all of that, and they believe in Jesus Christ, the good Lord and Savior, but then they watched Obama get sworn in under this thing. I said Obama because Obama couldn't do nothing wrong. They watched him. So does it matter if you were Kamala, what's her name? Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Does it matter? Who do they pledge their allegiance to? Who do they get sworn in under? Who are they? Who's watching them as they get sworn in? Satan is watching them. So it doesn't even matter, because if this really was a now somebody told me, well, over time things change meaning. No, to hell with that. Ain't no things change meaning. That is built just like an Egyptian obelisk for sun worship. If you really worship God, that should be torn down. This is a high place that should be torn down. But where did they? And mind you, don't forget that this also represents enlightenment. Don't forget that. This also represents enlightenment. And who gave man enlightenment? Satan. In Genesis chapter 3. See, what I'm doing is I'm tying it in, and I'm showing you who the Spirit is working in chiefly in today. You can see it in, I could do a whole class just on symbolism in America and just show you tons of symbolism that you probably wouldn't even know. Like if y'all go to where is that at? I always forget the name of that shopping center. The Citadel. I always forget that name. If you type in the Citadel, you see all type of Babylonian gods and all of that. You're like, why is this even right here? What architect say, yeah, we're gonna put all these gods just all throughout the Citadel? And we black people just be walking shopping. We don't be thinking nothing. We feel like we made it because we shopping at the Citadel. This is why I always tell my brothers, Paul gave wisdom. And this is a little detour for a little second because we're going to get back to the class. Paul gave wisdom because everything is offered to an idol in America. Everything. So guess what, brothers? If we're going to scrutinize, when Paul said, hey, if you eat it, you don't eat it towards an idol for wisdom. If we're going to scrutinize that, then we can't go to the doctor. We cannot go to the doctor because when you go to the hospital, who is healing you? That. You can't even go to the hospital. So when you get sick, you break your leg, I don't know. Tahar, where you at? We're gonna have to learn how to cast them up in here. Yeah, because what people don't understand is like when you do the wisdom of what Paul was doing was he was saying, look, in the shambles and in the places where we buy our food, these are places dedicated to false gods. The heathen nation sold the food in the temples, in their temples. That's historic. So if I'm from Rome and I don't have a temple, how am I eat? I gotta go in there and eat because how am I eat? Well, they did the same thing. They had their god for their medicine men and all of that. They had their gods there too. It's the same thing. So when you go to the house, when the ambulance pick you up and this is on the back of the truck, do not get in. Because what you're saying is, of course, I'm being extra'd out because they be extra'd out. What you're saying is you're praying to that now to help you. You see what I'm saying? So Esau's country, the whole nation is full of wickedness. Oh, 1 second. Let me get my charger. The whole nation is full of wickedness. All right. So let's go back now. Let's go. So we read Deuteronomy 4:19, right? Read verse. Let's go from there now. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 3 now. Does everybody understand that?